Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson, another little bit of an opinion piece for you this time. And I wanted to talk to you and explain why Manchester United get linked to everyone. Because we do, don't we? You can't move from Manchester United being linked to dozens and dozens and dozens of players. Someone actually did a study a couple of windows ago, and it said that Manchester United are linked usually to somewhere in the region of 200 players per window. Now, the problem is, we're going to sign somebody, invariably, in most windows, summer windows especially, but we'll never sign 200. Why are Manchester United linked to so many players? Well, I'm hopefully going to dissect a little bit of that for you today. So strap in, stay tuned, and hopefully by the end of the video, you'll go, yeah, makes sense, and actually see some of the bullshit coming. So in short, it's a combination of factors, but let's go through them all and see if we can spot where people are going to start hanging their hats on. So, firstly, we're not good, and this is a new thing, or it's a more recent thing. But we're not good, and because we're not good, the problems at the club need solutions. And the easiest thing to fix the squad is a big signing, bring in a good player, someone who's going to carry the squad, a leader, a superstar. It's a very easy thing to link. And it gets people excited because it's the biggest tangible change. If you found out that they'd changed the training time at Old Trafford, you'd be like, all right, that's interesting, I guess. If you found out that the analyst was going about his job in a different way, you'd be like, okay, does that do anything? If you heard that they brought in a set-piece coach, never mind. The problems being that we know the players need replacing. And to replace players, you have to buy players. And there's a whole group of people out there that are genuinely more excited for transfers than they are about the actual football, I think. It's a consequence of the Football Manager and FIFA generations. If we're winning, there's far less need for transfers, although there's still the excitement about those transfers. I can remember when we were linked to the likes of Batistuta, and even when we were first initially linked to the likes of Veron. Those transfer rumours never really go away. But there's a bit of an added desperation because we're not good. Secondly, it's clicks. Media companies want to make money. I myself, this is my full-time job. I try to give you the truth. I don't just generate nonsense. And I actually have a really good time dissecting the nonsense that others are making. But because people need to generate clicks and views, some people just come up with absolute lies. Manchester United being one of the biggest clubs and the club being where they are at the moment, wanting to get back to where they are, it does generate clicks. Manchester United are one of the most talked about, watched, read about in the world. And because of that, there is a huge market for Manchester United news. And this isn't something that's a secret. I remember the editor of one of the Red Tops, it was on the Sunday supplement Sky Sports used to do with the journalists. I don't even know if they still do, actually, because maybe it's just a bit old hat, but they used to do it on the Sunday supplement. And he mentioned if you linked somebody to Manchester United, it would move more newspapers. And this is back in like the early 2000s, back end of the 90s. And it was a tactic to just link United's name in there to generate more interest. And that hasn't changed. It still happens at the moment. The more links, the more publicity, the more media companies are making when it comes to their news. Another big one is agents and player power. When players are unhappy about something at the current club, usually money, they start flirting with other clubs. One club that they invariably flirt with is Manchester United. We've seen really, really good players just completely use us for that sort of thing. Sergio Ramos is a real recent one that springs to mind for that happening. Manchester United are the one that they always go to. When you see like a young hot prospect coming from South America, who's interested in signing him? It's always Barcelona, Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain. Why? Because they're the ones who throw money around and they're the ones that are going to generate clicks and on this, that and the other. And it's the same with players moving within and around the Premier League and within Europe. When Richarlison was on his way to Watford, I remember covering it for Full Time Devils, and it said, he's either on his way to Watford or Manchester United. And I went, so he's going Watford then? Obvious, isn't it? United and Watford don't generally compete for players. but they've thrown Manchester United's name in there. So I fell for it and started talking about it, even if I was dismissing it, and said, look, the United have been linked to this kid. I think I remember at the time saying they'd called him a wonder kid. And I was like, well, he's not a wonder, and he's not a kid. Well, he's turned out to be a pretty solid Premier League player. But it wasn't a wonder, he wasn't a kid, and he wasn't signing for Manchester United. Now, that might eventually change. If Everton do go down, I think Richarlison sounds like he could be a player United might go for. But when he was signing for Watford, he wasn't signing for Manchester United. Next up is new managers. New managers always have a big turnaround in staff, whether that's playing staff or coaching staff. And even a big manager himself is now like a new signing. You see the amount of interest generated in what's going on with Erik ten Hag at the moment. When a new manager comes and they bring in their new players, there's loads of speculation about who they're going to bring in. Are they going to bring players from their old club? Have they already been looking? Have the recruitment from the club been looking? Whenever a new manager arrives at a club, they have to make a change in the playing staff. They usually want to bring someone that they've worked with. They usually want to see somebody that kind of can be an ally for them in the changing room. Louis van Gaal did it with Daley Blind and Memphis Depay. We saw Moyes do it with Fellaini. Mourinho did it with Zlatan. It's a very, very, very common thing where managers want to bring in players that they've worked with and that they know to be allies for them in the changing room. As United have had so many managers in the digital era, you're a couple of seasons away from a brand new manager at Old Trafford, no matter where you throw the dart. There's always a speculation of players coming, players going, new managers coming, new managers going. So new managers is another reason why you constantly see United linked with a ton of different players. And also because we don't know who that manager is genuinely interested in. It's not like managers hold a press conference and be like, right, pay attention, going to give you my 27 names on my hit list and then we'll start working on them. Competitive advantage has gone out the window if you try and do that. So you're never going to see a manager do that. So speculation, quite often, is just speculation. United also signed quite a few players. And like I said, we might have been linked to 200 on average in a summer window. But we do still sign a fair amount of players. And we've signed 39 players in the post-Ferguson era, which averages at 4.3 players per season. Now, of course, if a team's looking to sign players, there's going to be leaks and rumours. And sometimes United are playing both sides of it. I got burnt in this one in a big way. I know Ander Herrera's agent. Ander Herrera was on holiday. He was talking to Morata. Morata had told him he was going to be signing for Manchester United by the weekend. It's like Wednesday or Thursday night. I was on Full-Time Devils that night and I reported what I'd just been told. Morata expects to be a United player by weekend. The next morning, United signed Lukaku. Was the information wrong? No, United had just played Morata and they'd played Lukaku and they were just waiting for the Lukaku deal to materialise. If it didn't, Morata probably would have been a Manchester United player, but it was clearly our second choice. So while we're signing players and while we're negotiating with loads of players, there's leaks out there. There's a ton of different ways to get leaks. Agents will leak it on purpose. Agents will leak it to try and drive up the price. Agents will leak it because they'll be like, do you know what? Let me get City involved in this. And you might see a bidding war. We've seen that happen in the past. How many times was Pep really interested in Harry Maguire? I'd like to think not. But is that the sort of thing that makes him hurry up? Were City actually interested in Cristiano Ronaldo? I think they were. I just don't think he was interested in going to them, which is why it unfolded the way it unfolded. But sometimes getting a rival club involved in a bidding war is a very straightforward way to make whoever hurry up with what's going on. And Manchester United are a team and a name that is used in that constantly. And as we saw, when journalists found out that United had approached Ten Hag or that we'd approached Pochettino, it seems like an agent or even somebody at the club or something like that, maybe even a journalist is being used to put this information out there. A lot of information that you would assume stays private finds its way into the public domain very, very easily. You look at some of the stuff at the moment that's going on. Is Ronaldo staying? Is Ronaldo going? Where is that coming from? Is it coming from Manchester United? Is it coming from someone in Ronaldo's camp? Is it coming from someone who works for Ronaldo in Manchester? There's so many possible options. And there's so many possible areas for leaks. And like I said, because we actually do sign a good few players, and I would expect us to sign a few this summer as well, with a new manager coming in, there's always going to be the speculation surrounding that. And sometimes blind guesses from journalists can end up being quite right. And the main reason, we are Manchester United. Manchester United has got one of the biggest fan bases in world football, arguably shrinking, arguably a little bit turned off at the moment, but it's still comfortably the biggest club in the UK. It's still comfortably in the top 5 clubs in world football with a truly global audience. And because of that, everyone's going to link us to everybody. Manchester United attract big name players because we're a big club. We sign big name players. We spend a lot of money. There is still, I think it's a little bit tarnished at the moment, but there is still a hell of a lot of shine and glamour about this club. We've got one of the most famous people in the world playing for us at the moment, Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, he could have gone anywhere. Maybe it wasn't the right decision to come back here, but he did come back here. Him coming back here proves the pull of Manchester United still. Varane coming here proves the pull of Manchester United still. Yes, we're paying wages, but everybody pays wages, especially in the Premier League at the moment. Agents want to flirt with us. Players want to flirt with us. Players still telling you that they want to play in the Premier League, and Manchester United is invariably one of the first words out of their mouth when they say that. If we go another 10 years, that might not be the case. But the case is that right now, we're still one of the biggest clubs in the world, and it's still profitable for agents, for players, for newspapers, for Sky Sports to link everybody to Manchester United. Hopefully I can help sift through the bullshit and find out who we're really in for and who we're not really in for. I don't think we're in for Haaland. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.